Hi, I'm Ron Epstein, co-owner of Home Theater Forum, and welcome to my home theater. Quick story for you. When I was growing up, we had multiple TVs in our house, but I was the only person who was the home theater enthusiast, so I was the guy with the VHS player or the Laserdisc player. And I had this fascination of transmitting the signal from one end of the house to the other. I mean, how do you get your VHS player, when you're the only guy who has it, to transmit on every single TV in the house? So I went out and I bought this, and this is now 15 years old at least. It's a part of a transmitter receiver kit. I think this is the receiver. And basically what you did was plug in your analog source, such as a VHS player or a Laserdisc player, into this device, and then you put the receiver on the opposite end of the house, and you're able to transmit the video from one end of the house to the other. But now that we're living in the digital age and we're dealing with HDMI content, how do you do the same thing? Well, I was very surprised to find out that a company called Peerless was offering a product called HDFLOW. And what this is basically taking this old technology and updating it in our new digital high-definition world. HDFLOW allows you to transmit HD content from one end of your house to another using a transmitter and a receiver. Let's take a look what's inside the box. Okay, so let's take a look what's inside the box. Love opening up boxes. Okay. Alright, first thing out of the box here. It looks like we have our cables and stands for the transmitter receiver. These are the stands. We have two power adapters. And the only cables that come in this box, there's two cables. There's a VGA to RCA adapter and an IR blaster adapter. Also, remote control. Okay, and inside this box we either have the receiver or the transmitter. Okay, this is the receiver, the full HD wireless multimedia connector. It's quite thin, quite small. And here we have the transmitter. And I know it's the transmitter because of the PC input connection. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at here is the transmitting device. It's got two HDMI 1080p inputs. It's got one composite video and stereo audio RCA input. You've got a 15-pin PC video high-density input as well as a PC audio input. You've got your IR port here for your IR blaster. And finally, it's got a Ethernet input connection. Okay, we're now looking at the receiver, and you'll notice that it looks very similar to the transmitter. We've got one HDMI 1080p output. We've got your composite output here. You've got your RCA audio video output here. You have one USB output here. You have your IR port here and your PC audio output here. And finally at the bottom you have your LAN connection. Okay, so here's the experiment. I've got my Oppo Blu-ray player, and I want to transmit it to the high-definition television that's on the other end of my house. How we're going to do that is, I've got the Oppo Blu-ray player plugged into the HDFLOW transmitter. You can see on the back, I've got the HDMI connection, and I also have an IR blaster plugged in. And I don't know if you could see it here, but I'm going to take one of these little IR blaster nubs and put it right on the remote control eye of the Oppo BD player. So the experiment is, can I transmit the Oppo Blu-ray picture to my TV across the house and be able to use the Oppo remote control? Let's take a look and see if this works. So here we are at the opposite end of my home. This is my living room and my second high-definition display. And as you can see, we've got a picture. What you're seeing is the picture, the Blu-ray picture, being transmitted from my Oppo Blu-ray player. The Oppo Blu-ray player is connected to the HDFLOW transmitter. And here we have the HDFLOW receiver. And you see the HDMI cable plugged in the back. It's plugged into the back of the Panasonic display. And lo and behold, we've got a Blu-ray picture. And if that's not enough, because we're using the IR blaster cable on the Oppo device, I have full remote control capability from my Oppo remote control. For instance, I just simply hit the pause button, and we've paused the picture. You can also go a chapter forward, a chapter back. All the functions that you would normally use on your remote control are available on the TV at the opposite end of your home or however you're going to use it. So it works rather well. Now, I do have to admit, I had some connection problems because the distance is at the 130-foot mark, and you only get 130 feet to play with. So we had to try this several times in order to get this to work, but as you can see, the two devices are communicating. There's a little bit of signal loss. You can kind of see it in the picture, and that's because of the distance that we're using. But the closer that you have the receiver and the transmitter from each other, the better picture quality you're going to get. But right here, this looks pretty much Blu-ray quality. As a matter of fact, I don't think anybody would really be able to say, you know what, that's not a Blu-ray picture. So bravo, this works. So I'm sitting around wondering, what else can I do with the HDFLOW? Well, I have an Xbox. So let's see if, without having to move my Xbox, I'm able to hook up the HDFLOW to my Xbox along with the IR blaster, transmit it to my second TV, and see how the gameplay is on that. If I could do that, well, I have my Xbox available on a second TV anytime I want. Let's see if it works. Okay, I had to pull everything out of the rack, so I apologize for the mess, but I wanted to show you how we did this. This is the Xbox, and you can see that we've hooked up the Xbox to the HDFLOW using the HDMI connector. And you'll also notice on the front of the Xbox we're using the IR blaster. This will enable us to hopefully use the Xbox controller from the TV at the opposite end of the house. Let's go see if this works. Okay, here we are back on the opposite side of the house, and as you can see, we have the HDFLOW device hooked up to the plasma TV through an HDMI connection. We also have a picture that's coming from the Xbox on the opposite end of the house from the home theater. I hit the start button, and as you can see, I can clumsily move forward. That's just me not knowing the gameplay that well, but we have pretty decent game quality and absolutely no lag whatsoever when using the controller device. So transmitting your Xbox to the opposite end of the house seems to work pretty flawlessly, and there is no lag with remote control use. So there you have it, the HDFLOW wireless multimedia kit from Peerless. It works. It's an effective way of transmitting high-definition content from your home equipment rack to any television across the household. That's the good news.